Hi, fifth graders, we're back. I hope you had a great Easter. Okay, we're going to talk about writing tenths and hundredths as decimals. Okay, here we go. Okay, the first thing I'm going to talk about is if we have a 10 frame like this, and we want to write a fraction for that, I count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many are shaded, which is my numerator? How many total? We said it's a 10 frame, so there's 10. That's my denominator. Okay, so if I read this, I read it 7/10. If I want to write that as a decimal, this is what I usually tell my kids, okay? If they can't remember what the tenths place, what's the hundredths place, and they have a 10 or a 100 on the bottom, it helps us because the zeros tell us it's the first place after the decimal because there's 1 0. So I put my decimal, I put my top number, and you can only do this if it's 10 or 100 or 1,000 on the bottom, okay? If it was 5 or 9 or something like that on the bottom, we couldn't do this. We'd have to do it differently. But when it has 10, 100, 1,000, something like that, that makes it a lot easier. Okay, so since we have 10 on the bottom, I see there's 1 0. So that means this numerator is going to go in the first spot after the decimal. Okay, so, and if I read this, they read the same. 7/10, 7/10. Okay, this time I'm just going to give you the fraction. And I'm going to make it a little different here. 8/100ths. Okay, so now I see I have 2 zeros here. And again, it's 10, 100, 1,000. I can do this. So my 8 is going to go in the second, because it's 2 zeros, second spot after the decimal. So here's my first spot, here's my second, and I put my 8 in there. What do you think I put in this spot? You got it, I put a 0 because it was only 8/100ths. Okay, so if I had 17/100ths, again I have 2 zeros on there. So I've got 2 spots after my decimal, and I'm going to fill that in, my last number being in the second spot. Okay, and sometimes drawing these lines after your decimal of how many zeros you have helps kids out. Okay, so let's try one more. 6/10. Okay, I have 1 0, so I put my decimal in one line, and my numerator goes on that line. Let's do another hundredth. 39/100ths. I have 2 zeros. I put my decimal, I put my 2 marks because I have 2 of them, and then I fill with my last number of my numerator being in that last spot. 39/100ths. Okay, guys? Now, let's do one more. Because if I have a whole number, I forgot to erase here. If I have a whole number with it, for example, if I have 5 and 9/10ths, okay, I know this part is my decimal because it's part of a number. Here's my whole number, so that it's going to go in front of my decimal. Then I have my decimal, and I can do what I just talked about. I have 1 spot, so I put my 1 line. I put my numerator on that 1 line. 5 and 9/10ths. Okay, let's do one more of those. 4 and 41/100ths. Okay, so walk me through it, guys. What do I do with my 4? You got it. I put it in front of my decimal. How many spots am I going to have after the decimal? Yes, you're right. I have 2 zeros on that 100, so I'm going to have 2 spots. And what do I fill in those 2 spots? My numerator with the last number of it going in that last spot. 4 and 41/100ths. All right, fifth graders, I know you can do this. We will see you tomorrow. Bye.